Spiritual awakening is often portrayed as a harmonious and enlightening process that leads us to greater peace and understanding. But let us not be naive. Awakening is also akin to the birthing process, messy, painful, and full of the unknown. It is a profound shift that can turn our world upside down and inside out, shaking the very foundations upon which we've built our lives. In our first exploration of this topic, we approach the unexpected sense of loneliness that can arise on this path. When we begin to awaken, the world as we knew it changes. Relationships, hobbies, and even careers that once felt fulfilling may suddenly seem shallow or misaligned with our new understanding. We might find ourselves withdrawing from conversations and activities that no longer resonate with our emerging sense of truth. It is as if we have outgrown our old lives, but the new one has not yet taken shape. This phase can be incredibly isolating. Now, we may lose friends or feel misunderstood by those we love. It's like speaking a foreign language in our own homeland. The sense of alienation can be palpable. But why does this happen? It is because as we awaken, our vibrational frequency begins to change. We start to experience the world in a different way, and this can create a gap between us and those who are still comfortable within the old paradigms. Is it surprising, then, that loneliness is a companion on this journey? We are, in a sense, leaving behind parts of our identity that have been with us for years, perhaps even lifetimes. But it is important to remember that this loneliness is not a sign that something has gone wrong. It is, in fact, a signal that we are moving in the right direction, shedding layers that no longer serve us. The advice here is not to rush to fill the void with noise and distraction. Instead, can we sit with the discomfort of our loneliness and listen to what it has to teach us? It is in these quiet moments that we can connect with the deepest parts of ourselves and understand what we truly seek in companionship and community. Do we dare to be patient and allow our new tribe to find us, knowing that they will resonate with our truest self? It is a test of faith and a leap into the unknown, but it is also the pathway to forming more authentic and fulfilling connections. Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lessons. Let's move forward to another aspect that is seldom discussed, the dismantling of our belief systems. As we awaken, we begin to question the fundamental truths that we have held on to for so long. We might start to see the flaws in our societal structures, religious doctrines, and even in the scientific paradigms we once took as absolute. This can be a deeply unsettling experience. The structures we once leaned on for support begin to crumble, and we may feel as though we are standing amidst the ruins of our own psyche. But why is this deconstruction necessary? It is because to awaken fully, we must be willing to let go of everything that is untrue and unauthentic. This process of dismantling is not meant to destroy us, but rather to free us from the illusions that have kept us bound. It is an invitation to rebuild our understanding from a place of deeper awareness. The practical guidance here is to embrace the not knowing, to become comfortable with uncertainty. Can we find the courage to question even our most cherished beliefs and remain open to the revelations that may come? It is not an easy task, but it is essential for true spiritual liberation. And what about the emotional upheaval that often accompanies awakening? The highs can be ecstatic, but the lows can be equally devastating. Our pain, anger, and fear may rise to the surface with a ferocity that we have never known before. This is because as we awaken, we become more sensitive to the energies within and around us. The pain we have suppressed, the traumas we have ignored, all demand to be acknowledged and healed. In this phase, It is crucial to practice self-compassion and to seek support when needed. The path of awakening is not about transcending our humanity, but about embracing it fully. This means accepting our emotions, even the painful ones, as guides that lead us to a deeper understanding of ourselves and our place in the world. Can we hold space for ourselves as we would for a dear friend, allowing ourselves to feel without judgment? It is through this radical acceptance that healing and transformation can occur. As we reach the end of this first part, we must ask, are we willing to walk through the fire of transformation, knowing that it is the only way to the other side? The journey of awakening is not for the faint of heart, but the rewards are beyond measure. Navigating the Maelstrom. Embracing the inner revolution. As we journey deeper into the heart of spiritual awakening, we encounter the intense inner revolution that defies our expectations. The unfolding process often brings forth an internal upheaval, a kind of psychological and emotional purging that few anticipate. In this second phase of our exploration, we confront the dismantling of the ego, a concept we closely identify with, yet must learn to transcend. The ego, our sense of I, me, and mine, has been the captain of our ship for as long as we can remember. It has shaped our reactions, our decisions, and our perceptions of the world. But as we awaken, we begin to see the limitations of the ego. We realize that it is an illusion, a construct that we've clung to out of necessity, a mask that has obscured our true self. This realization can lead to what is often called the dark night of the soul, a period where everything we once believed about ourselves is called into question. We may feel as though we are losing our grip on who we thought we were, the roles we have played, the titles we have held, the status we have worked so hard to achieve. All these begin to lose their luster and significance. During this time, it's common to experience a sense of emptiness, as if we are hollowed out. Yet, within this space, there is a profound opportunity for rebirth. The question is not who we are without our ego, but rather, who can we become? This is the crucible of transformation, where we have the chance to forge a new identity rooted in our most authentic self. But how do we navigate this tumultuous phase? One key piece of advice is to focus on grounding ourselves. Activities that connect us with our body and the present moment, like mindful breathing, yoga, or spending time in nature, can help anchor us when we feel adrift. It's also vital to maintain a gentle curiosity about our experiences without rushing to re-identify with new labels or philosophies. Perhaps the most profound question we can hold during this time is not, "Who am I?" but rather, "What is emerging through me?" This shift in inquiry opens us up to the flow of our true essence, allowing us to move with the currents of change rather than resisting them. As we continue our passage, we also uncover the shadow self, the parts of us that we have denied or hidden away. Spiritual awakening shines a light on these aspects, demanding that they be seen and integrated. This is where many of us stumble, for it is one thing to aspire to spiritual ideals and quite another to confront the parts of us that seem to contradict those ideals. Our shadows are not to be feared or shamed, though. They hold immense power and potential. When we embrace our shadows, we reclaim the energy we have spent keeping them at bay, and we open ourselves up to a more whole and dynamic expression of our being. The challenge here is to practice radical self-acceptance, to love all parts of ourselves, and to recognize that our shadows often carry our greatest gifts. Can we extend kindness to the parts of us that we have been taught to reject? It is in this radical embrace that we find true freedom and the ability to move through the world with a sense of wholeness. This phase of the awakening journey calls for patience and perseverance. It is a sacred process of dying to the old self and being reborn into a more expansive state of consciousness. It is a journey that can be disorienting and demanding, but it is also rich with the potential for profound growth and joy. And so, as we reach the end of this part, we sit with the reality of the ego's dissolution and the emergence of our shadow self. We recognize the inner revolution as a necessary passage to our truest expression. The unseen trials, confronting spiritual bypassing. As we delve further into the intricacies of spiritual awakening, we encounter a subtle yet powerful phenomenon known as spiritual bypassing. This is the third critical aspect we must explore on our journey. Spiritual bypassing is the use of spiritual practices and beliefs to avoid facing unresolved emotional issues, psychological wounds, and unfinished developmental tasks. It is the shadow side of spirituality, where we use the light to cast away the darkness, not to illuminate it. In the throes of awakening, we may find ourselves tempted to bypass the less pleasant aspects of our journey. We may cling to a sense of detachment or adopt an air of transcendental indifference in the face of life's messiness. It can be a seductive path to cloak oneself in the guise of enlightenment while sidestepping the gritty work of personal transformation. But true awakening demands that we walk through the muck and mire of our deepest fears, insecurities, and shortcomings. This phase requires us to be brutally honest with ourselves. Are we using spirituality as a shield from the world, or as a sword to cut through our own illusions? It is all too easy to fall into the trap of believing we are above certain experiences or emotions because we have adopted a spiritual veneer. But in truth, the path of awakening is not about ascending to some imagined height of purity. It is about bringing light to every corner of our existence, especially those parts we deem unworthy or unspiritual. The practical advice here is to remain vigilant against the allure of spiritual escapism. We must commit to a path that is not about bypassing but about deep engagement with ourselves, with others, and with the world. This means embracing our humanity with all its flaws and complexities, and recognizing that spiritual growth is not separate from our human experience but deeply entwined with it. In this context, the most profound question we might hold is not how we can escape life's trials, but how we can meet them with presence and grace. How can we use our spiritual insights not as a way out, but as a way through the challenges that shape us? It is also during this phase that we might confront the paradox of spiritual materialism, the tendency to accumulate spiritual experiences, practices, or accomplishments as if they were possessions or status symbols. The ego, ever adaptable, can co-opt the language and trappings of spirituality to bolster its own sense of importance. Thus, we must be cautious not to confuse the trappings of a spiritual life with the essence of spiritual living. The invitation here is to cultivate an inner authenticity that cannot be swayed by external validation or the trappings of spiritual identity. Can we maintain a humble heart, open to learning and growth, even as we acquire spiritual knowledge and experience? It is this humility that keeps us grounded and prevents the ego from reclaiming the throne under the guise of enlightenment. As we navigate the pitfalls of spiritual bypassing and materialism, we also learn to embrace the wisdom of the body. The body holds our history, our emotions, and our untold stories. It is the vessel through which we experience the divine. By turning towards our bodily sensations and feelings, we can uncover the truths that lie beneath the surface of our conscious mind. Are we prepared to listen to the subtle whispers of our body, to honor its wisdom and its needs? This is where the integration of spirit and flesh occurs, where we come to understand that our physical form is not an obstacle to our awakening but a gateway to it. As we come to the close of this part, we are reminded that spiritual awakening is not a race to transcendence but a deep dive into the essence of what it means to be fully human. It is a process that requires us to be present with all that we are, to face ourselves with honesty and courage. Are we ready to continue this journey of awakening, embracing each step with an open heart and a willing spirit? Let's move forward, ever mindful of the beauty and the challenges that lie ahead. The lessons of this final passage are manifold, but perhaps the most significant is the realization that enlightenment is not a destination to be reached, but an ever-evolving process of becoming. We are not static beings, destined to arrive at a final state of perfection. We are dynamic, ever-changing creatures, constantly in the process of creating and recreating ourselves. In practical terms, this means living with intentionality, choosing actions that reflect our highest values, and aligning ourselves with the flow of life. It means embracing change, not as an adversary, but as a trusted ally in our quest for growth. It is about learning to dance with the cosmos, to move with grace and fluidity, guided by the rhythms of the universe. The most poignant inquiry we might hold now is not what we can take from this journey, but what we can contribute to it. How can our individual awakening ripple out into the world, touching the lives of others and contributing to the collective evolution of consciousness? This is where our personal transformation becomes a catalyst for global change. As we weave the threads of our experiences into the luminous tapestry of our existence, we also come to appreciate the beauty of the unfinished work. There is no finality to the art of spiritual living. It is a masterpiece perpetually in progress, inviting us to add our unique stroke to the evolving picture. Here, we must also acknowledge the role of community and connection. Our awakening is not a solitary endeavor. It is deeply rooted in the fertile soil of human interaction. It is through our relationships with family, friends, strangers, and even adversaries that we are offered the richest opportunities for growth. The challenge now is to embody the wisdom we have amassed, to live as beacons of light in a world that often shuns illumination. Can we maintain our center in the midst of chaos, hold space for healing in the face of pain, and offer love when confronted with hatred? As we conclude this transformative journey, we are not the same individuals who embarked upon this path. We have been forged in the fires of introspection, shaped by the winds of experience, and polished by the waters of compassion. We stand ready to step into our role as conscious co-creators of our reality, as stewards of the earth, and as harbingers of a new era. Let us now take our place within the grand tapestry of life, not as passive observers but as active participants. Let us weave our stories with threads of light, and in doing so, contribute to the grand design that is the human experience. With hearts wide open, we move forward, carrying the wisdom of the journey within us, ready to meet whatever the future holds with courage, love, and an unshakable sense of wonder. Are we ready to live the truth of who we are, to shine forth into the world, and to be the luminous tapestry we are meant to be?